Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is being recorded live on October 7th, 2025. And we're going to be talking a lot about the recent happenings within the gaming industry, from Sony to Microsoft to Nintendo themselves. September 24th was a big day in the world of gaming. Lots of different things happening. And this morning, Nintendo dropped a weird animated video that we're going to be talking about as well. So before we get into any of that, let's do some introductions. My name is Steve, and of course, I'm joined by Barry and Greg. Barry, how you doing?
Hey, good to be back. And yeah, I'm still here. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, yeah. Greg, I'm glad you're still here too.
Yeah, I'm still here too. I guess all three of us have survived that rapture that happened like before
Yeah,
the last podcast, so that's still ongoing, I guess.
yeah. Well, like I said, we're going to be talking about lots of Nintendo news and other gaming industry news in this episode, as well as what we've been playing, what we're looking forward to playing soon. But before we jump into any of that, we just want to thank you guys so much for being here and joining us, especially those that are joining us in the live chat. We go live every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. We'd love for you guys to join in the live chat. We stream on both YouTube and Twitch. And if you've not joined us, make sure you do so. But if you are there and you're in our live chat, let us know that you're there. Say hi, but also chime in with what you've been playing and all the different news that we're going to talk about in this episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions as well. We'll go to the chat as much as we can throughout this live recording. And if you've not followed us on social media or followed us, joined our Discord community as well, we'd love to have you do that. All those links are going to be in the show notes and the YouTube description as well. But as always, let's jump into what we have been playing here at the top. And Greg, go ahead and kick us off.
Unfortunately, it's a pretty light list for me this over the last 2 weeks. Just been a lot of other stuff going around in like my personal life and along with other things with getting super hooked on some of these mobile games. So um, I did play a little bit more of Silk Song, but I wasn't able to pass the boss that I was at last time. So I gave it some more good attempts there, and then I don't know if I need to give up or just try to keep trudging through, but I didn't really get a ton of playtime, so I'm hoping that this weekend, when I'll be doing a little bit of traveling, that I'll have some plenty of time to get a lot more Switch 2 time in. But on the mobile side, I have been checking out the two main games, like Adopt Me and also Dandy's World, that I've talked about several times before. Both of them have had some good updates over the past few weeks that just kind of keep you hooked and has you like wanting to grind for pretty much just about everything that the game offers and more currencies and more prizes and all that kind of fun stuff. So it's unfortunately those kind of things are taking my attention away from the Nintendo Switch. Um, but I'm still also playing the Cookie Run Kingdom game, doing really well there too. They did have like a new Beast cookie that launched in the last few weeks, so it was really hard trying to summon for that one and make sure to get a hold of it. And I actually did luck out and got it on like my second 10 pull, so that was really cool there. So um, yeah, it was just a lot of different updates in these mobile games, and it's really cool to get the brand new content right when it drops and be able to have bragging to other players and show it off and like, hey, look what I got and all that kind of fun stuff to the people on your friends list and everything. Um, and then a new game that I was playing that we'll talk probably a little bit more a little bit later is the FE Shadows game. So that kind of game just it dropped out of nowhere, and people know that I like my Fire Emblem games, especially on the mobile device where it's a little bit easier to get a little bit of extra playtime in here and there. I did go through the tutorial, and it's very interesting because it's vastly different from Heroes. So instead of like you're moving the characters to create fights, the characters move automatically, and then pretty much you have to like, kind of drag like either attacks or like spells or healing stuff like onto the proper character that you're casting it on. And then there is like area of effect spells that actually damage your own characters as well too. So that's kind of interesting there as well. So. It not quite sure how long it'll keep my attention for, but it does. The story part is definitely super interesting. The way they have like a big cinematic reveal and kind of talk about how they got in this predicament and trying to get through this like cave of shadows and all these like shadow monsters like just keep springing up and attacking them. So um, quite possibly we'll at least continue for that part of it as long as it gets like new like story content is if I ever finish the story content. But yeah, that was some brief playtime thoughts on that game.
Nice. Greg, I'm right with you. I have not played very many games this last couple weeks either. But Barry did. Barry, what all you played?
I went through quite a bit. So on the Switch side, still doing Pokemon Unite and Asphalt Legends Unite, my daily plays. A couple game chat games. One game called Silver Bullet. It's an arcade style twin stick shmup, but not in the sense that you're accustomed to. You can't move and shoot at the same time. So there's a extra layer of strategy there, but it's a lot of fun. And Tristan and I did a game chat, which will be going up soon. Played a game called Soldner X Himmelstürmer, which we talked about last time at the East Asia Soft showcase. So I got review codes and played through that. Spoiler: it's a lot of fun for those that like the horizontal shmups. But
Yep.
Steve and I will be doing a game chat on that soon. Another game that I got, this was an unsolicited code, so I gave it a try. It's called the Order of the Snake Scale. It's like this 3D isometric style horror game, but I really just couldn't get into it. It
Sounds right up
controlled
your alley, though, Barry.
terribly. Yeah, totally. I'm not a horror guy, but I wanted to give it a chance. You know, they sent me a code. I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a chance. I just didn't like it. I really didn't like it. I didn't like the controls. I didn't like the graphics. I didn't like the setup. I just couldn't get into it. So it's not for me. But you know, if you watch a trailer and say that looks up my alley, please give it a shot. But it wasn't up mine. But I tried it. Then I decided to mess around and just like comfort food, go back and play some Double Dragon games. So on the Double Dragon and Kunio-kun Retro Brawler bundle, I did Double Dragon 1, 2, and 3, and then followed up with Super Double Dragon. So it was like the first 4 games, and I forgot how slow they were. Like it was really hard to get through them now at this stage of the game. Like where I'm so used to like modern amenities and
Mm.
faster movement, faster combat. And back in the day in the NES, they were like amazing. And like now I'm like, oh my God, these are going so slowly now. Like why punch? I'm like, oh, this is like I hate to say it, but it's like it has not aged as well. Like I want a mod that at least brings it up, but I look forward to this new Double Dragon game coming out, so I do look forward to that. Then I had a little time and I wanted to do this before the new Hyrule Warriors came out, but I went back to Age of Calamity, which I had 100%ed, but I never did the DLC. So I did the 2 DLC packs. I went through the entire like the lab. I went through all the missions in the lab. There's a brand new story. There's like 8 new missions. Went through all that. Got the 3 new characters unlocked. Did a bunch of other like side missions, and some of those are really like actually tough. And I got everything but like the last 8 weapons for the different characters because it just involves like grinding. And I can do it. And I was like, I'll do it when I have little bits and pieces. But I'm like, I did enough. I did the story, and it felt kind of like a weird part. Like there's something Zelda that I didn't do, and I'm like, I should do it. And it kind of gets me back in the mood for Hyrule Warriors for the new one coming out. And I had a lot of fun. I forgot just how much fun that game is.
Mhm.
So yeah, I definitely enjoyed my time with that. On the Switch 2 side of things, I played another game chat game called Hike Northern Lights. It is, speaking of Zelda, it's like a top-down Zelda-like action RPG with story elements. There's a lot of heavier emphasis on story. You get a camp where you can decorate, you get different items, and you can, go to the town and do different missions and different objectives, and you have multiple playable characters. Really, really fun, and I'll go more in depth into it in a game chat. But I did play that. The big game that I was playing last time was Trails of the Sky, the first chapter, the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. I finished it. I finished it. It's much, much smaller and shorter than the other Trails games, because it's 2 games. It's like Trails first chapter and second chapter. The first 2 Sky games are 2 halves of the same whole, the same way that like Cold Steel 1 and 2 were the 2 halves of the same whole. But the difference is Cold Steel is the size of like first chapter and second chapter alone. So like the games get significantly bigger. But this is a great starting point if you've never played the Trails of games. If you like RPGs and you haven't, you really are doing yourself a disservice. You need to play these games. This game has a free demo. The demo is the whole prologue. It goes in, it carries over. You need to download it. You need to try it. This along with Xenoblade are like right up there with top tier RPGs. Just standing the test of time. And it's getting like massive 10s and 9s, and I think it's a Metacritic of a 90 right now, which is fantastic to see some love for this niche RPG. So definitely check it out. It is awesome. And then a game I didn't expect to be putting up is Mario Kart World. I went back to Mario Kart World because of the update that we'll be talking about, but I was finally able to get the last 3 characters I missed due to a new method that made it way easier than grinding and praying for RNG. And I found a couple more, question mark blocks and the P switches and the Peach tokens just by driving around. Not 100%ing it, but when I saw it, I'm like, "Oh, I'll just grab them." But I did have fun, and I'm glad that at least I have those fully unlocked for when people come over and want to play. Then moving on to PlayStation 5, I booted up for the first time in a while. Go See a Toy came out, and boy, is that game awesome. I loved the first Ghost of Tsushima, and this one is superb. It's just a lot of fun. It is, I'm not very far into it. It's very open-ended. It lets you go wherever you want. Has some really unique features, like you have the world map, and then you got this cartographer that will give you little maps, and you kind of have to like piece over and put that little piece onto the larger map, and there's something in that little spot. There's bounties, there's, people you could rescue. It's just a really cool story. And I know there was a lot of controversy because you play as a woman and they roll into that in this game. Like it's very much being a woman is actually important because you're talking, feudal Japan where women weren't samurai. So, a lot of people will just, you know, talk, you're nobody, you're nothing. And at the same time, other people use it as political, like, oh, well, we accept women here. You should be part of our clan. And it's really interesting way they do it, and it's not preachy at all, and it's done very well, and I'm having a blast. Another system that I haven't put in a long time, Xbox Series X, I actually booted up because a game that I love is being delisted or has been delisted. Rock Band 4 was announced that the licenses for the music was only for 10 years, and the licenses ended, and they were going to delist it, and they gave us a whole 4-day notice. And I owned Rock Band 4. My wife played it originally when it came out, but I was like, my son now, it's 10 years later now, son, he loves music. He has a little guitar. I'm like, that would be really, really good as he gets just a little older. So we spent like the entire weekend combing through the catalog with it crashing, like the store crashed. We're using the website, only purchased so many limits. We probably spent over like $1,000 on DLC songs because they were going away. So you either buy them or you don't. So we said, let's use it as a party song because it's karaoke as well. My wife loves
Sure.
karaoke. My dad loves karaoke.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? Let's get all the songs we love. Let's make sure it's like the curated great hits. Because the other thing with Rock Band is it carried over. And unfortunately, I didn't do the export for 3, but I did the exports for 1, 2, and Lego Rock Band way back when. So all those songs are part of the library too, which is really cool. Every DLC that I ever bought on Xbox 360 is already included. It all came back. So I really like that. So now we have almost 1,300 songs right now, and it's like people can come over. It was like $10 to get the digital version with the expansion. We said let's just do it and we don't use the Xbox Series X, so now it's a karaoke machine. that's that's what we're using it for now, a glorified karaoke machine. But it's just one of those things where we're like hearing songs we haven't heard for in a while. We're having fun. My wife loves to sing. I'm playing the guitar. We're playing it together. We were up till 2 nights in a row. We were up to 3 o'clock in the morning just doing it, even though we both had to get up for work in the morning. Like we're just
Yeah.
having fun. I
Your
love
son's
that.
like, "Come on, parents, go to bed. I'm trying to sleep here."
Oh no, he can't see it. because if he sees like the guitar at this age,
Yeah.
he'll want it.
Yeah.
And when we don't give it to him, he will cry. So
Yeah.
it doesn't exist for him at the moment. He will eventually see it, and we think he'll love it. So it's very very good hand-eye coordination, and he loves music, and it's a good learning tool. So we're excited to do it. And we're excited to play more. We're excited to have friends over and play it, and go through it, because we loved Rock Band, but it was just one of those where we kind of phased it out, and now it's kind of come back. So yeah, a good portion of the weekend was nothing but, oh, we need this, we need all of these. Is there a pack? Let's get this. All the classics, all the karaoke staples we had to get, because like we know somebody is gonna want to play this. Let's get it before it's gone. There's still a lot up. If you don't get it already, you can get the physical. The physical still works. All the songs on the physical disc won't go away, and they're every week now. Songs are being delisted as they run out. But if you've already purchased it, you could always re-download it. So no fear there. And then coming to the end, finally, PC still doing Final Fantasy 14. New patch actually just dropped today. New Beast Tribe quests, so had to get on and do those. And on the mobile end, Mario Kart Tour, LinkedIn Games, New York Time Games, and Pokemon TCG Pocket. I actually just got a God Pack the other day with Tristan when we were doing our game chat recordings, which was kind of cool. But
Nice.
yeah, been playing those.
Sweet. Again, let us know what you guys have been playing in the chat or in the comments after the fact on YouTube, or let us know over on Discord as well. I have not been playing much because I've been working on a big article and project that I had to do, and that's almost done. So that's so thankful because I've been able to finally get to some games. But most of the time, I've been playing a lot of EA FC 26. Electronic Arts was so grateful and actually gave me uh, a review code for FC26. So thank you so much to EA Sports. It's in the game. And was played a lot of FC26 over the last couple of weeks. And the big thing that I've got to say, because I haven't played, I think I misspoke in the last episode. I think I said that it was FIFA 17 that I think was my last one. I think I got FIFA 18 as well, and so, but it's still been like 8 years since I've played. I played a little bit on the mobile version, so that's a little different. It's kind of like a light version of the full game, so I've got a little experience, but my goodness, there is so much extra in this game that is way beyond what is needed. Like it is so much extra, and it actually is overwhelming to me. Like I just want to get in, I want to play some games, I want to play maybe a series or play some people online. And while the game itself is fun, I think the gameplay is fun. I think the how they've integrated some changes with how you dribble and pass and shoot and all that stuff. It's pretty solid, but just navigating the menu and knowing where to go is really overcomplicated. And there, for instance, there's something that really confuses me right now. I'm still got to look into it before I do any sort of review, because I could create a character in the settings, but then I can't. I went to actually start a new mode where you're supposed to like focus on one character. I wasn't able to import that character. I had to start with a brand new one. I was like, man, I spent so much time creating that in this other mode. Why can't I just bring it right into this other mode? So that's dumb. And when you start that mode, it says like, follow one character or follow one player along the series and try to, it's similar to what I think NBA 2K does as well, where you try to create a character and you follow them along and try to advance their career and all that stuff. And but then it has you select a coach right after. I'm like, that's not what I want to do. I want to play this. So I'm getting, it's confusing. But the gameplay itself is fun. It's just, it's too much extra, and not really user friendly, I'll just say. Tried to play online though, and I don't know if there's crossplay in it at all, but when I tried to play online, I wasn't getting anybody on in a game, and so I haven't but actually play online yet. So hopefully that changes over time. But
What's the difference like between the Switch Because I know you complained about the legacy editions on the Switch versus the Switch 2. Like, is it night and day, or is it like just
I
looks
mean,
like
it looks like I would expect it to. There's some graphical stuff that is not been polished in it. Like people are like players are walking right through walls sometimes. And the the characters themselves, it's like this hybrid between HD and 4K. It's like they could do a better job than that. So I'm sure if you were to play it like on a PS5 Pro, you could definitely tell the difference. But compared to the Legacy Edition, yeah, it's a big enhancement for sure. But it could look even better if played on a more powerful system for sure. But it's good. Yeah, and it has all that extra stuff in it where the Legacy Editions I don't think were. It was just like the basic game and maybe a couple extra things. Where this is the full game. You get everything. So you're not missing out or anything like that. Mobile, played some Clash Royale, Pokemon TCG Pocket, Last Z, and Match Collector. You notice something missing from my list, and that's Rocket League. Like I've not been playing it nearly as much lately, and apparently that's I'm not alone in that. But what I did do a couple days ago, I finally got a little bit of a breather in my schedule and got ahead on some projects. And so remember that Game Boy, the Lego Game Boy that I picked up last couple weeks ago? I built it, and so it's pretty cool. I'll just say the buttons you can actually push and around, and it's fun. You can turn up the volume and they all move. You can like flip the power switch on and off and everything, and it's great. It comes with like wait, I gotta do this again. Make sure you see this on camera here. I'm taking the game out, and what game is it? Oh yeah, it's Link's Awakening. And so like that's fun. You can pop them in and out like that, and it also comes with another stand over here. Like it comes with two stands, so you can like you build them for the games and also for the Game Boy itself. But it has Super Mario Land as well, so it's so fun. And then they have like two different screens. So as you can tell, if you're watching the video version, the lenticular thing in the front, it's like the where it comes like Nintendo comes down at the very beginning and goes ding. That's not what it sounds like, but you know what I mean. Um, and then you can also replace it with a Mario Land one or a Zelda one as well. So like you can swap those out really easily, but then you also just put them in the stand, and it holds the other game that you don't have in there as well. And so it's pretty cool. It kind of goes just like it usually actually right behind me on my shelf for the last few days, and I am very very pleased with it. I built it all in like about 2 hours, so it's a pretty quick build, and it's basically 1-to-1 ratio with the actual Game Boy. So I was
Did you
gonna
see someone's already modded it and made it a real one? Like it made it playable?
Of course they did. Funny enough, my wife actually asked me after I built it. I showed it to her. She's like, does it actually play?" I'm like, "No." Like, not for $50 it doesn't. Um so but yeah, it's I've only seen it like on at Sam's Club. I think Costco might have it as well. But I've only seen it at Sam's Club, and it's like on sale. So that's been
I got mine from
it's fun.
Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's online somewhere, but in terms of like local stores or whatever, I've not seen it at Target. I've not seen it at Walmart. I've only seen it at Sam's Club. And yeah, I think they still are selling it for like $10 cheaper or something like that. I also picked up just a little thing, but this is one of my favorite game cases. I bought it from Best Buy, and it has like you can put all your games and stuff inside it, and it's soft and smooth, it's thin and everything. And but they released another one. So the first one was Super Mario, and now I have a Mario Kart one as well, so I can store all my physical games and take them with me. Each of them hold 24 cartridges itself, so it's nice and thin and easily to fit in a backpack or whatever, which is pretty cool. So that's what I did this last week because I didn't play a whole lot of games. I just built Lego and got a game case instead. Well,
You
let's
waited in line for hours for that game case.
hours, hours and hours. I just walked right through Best Buy and go, oh, look, they have a new one. I'm buying it for like $10. So it was nice. All right. And Okie Reps says, I got the big box version of it already. It was a pre-order for me. So is that, is he talking about the Lego thing,
Oh
or is
no,
he talking
he's
about
talking
the
about Pipistrello.
Pipistrello? Okay,
Nice. It's awesome.
cool. Well, let's move into these headlines. We've got several headlines tonight. We'll be talking about, like I said, a lot of them happened on September 24th, which was like right after our last episode. Dropped a lot of different things happening. So how about you kick us off with the first thing, Greg?
So on the last podcast, we had talked about Sony having their big state of play thing. It's like basically their version of the Nintendo Direct. And obviously, I'm not going to go through each and every announcement like we normally do for these kind of coverages, but there was at least pretty close to 20 different announcements for games and even some like speakers and other things going on there. So you can always be sure to check out the official PlayStation blog where they have like trailers for each of the games and all the announcements that they have covered through that presentation.
And speaking of game showcases, the inaugural Indie Fan Fest happened over on YouTube. And this had a bunch of games. In fact, just shy of 50 games were shown off. And what's really cool is that there were different highlights, such as two brand new games were shown off: Gloom Punks and Froggy Hates Snow. It also had release dates for a few titles like Escape from Duckpov, Let Them Come, Onslaught, and Varan. And then just some other highlights. They had Beneath, Blade Song, Fish Stick Protocol, Origament, A Paper Adventure, Save Seeker, Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown, Kickstarter for Dancing with Ghosts, and a PvP dogfighting game called Stars of Icarus. You could check out all the games that were shown off. These were for Steam. There's going to be a bunch of stuff being part of the Steam Next Fest, but a lot of these games will most likely find their way to Switch. So pay attention.
Well, some big news for Nintendo. Their current president and COO of Nintendo of America will be retiring at the end of this year, and that's expected. He was getting to the point of retirement, and it's time to step down. He's been working there at Nintendo for quite a while, and you're wondering probably who's taking his place. Well, that's going to be Devin Pritchard, who is a 19-year-old, 19-year-old, no, 19-year veteran. She's much. She's. I'm not going to say she's much older. She is older than 19. She is a 19-year veteran of the video games industry, long-standing member of the NOA team. And so she's going to actually be the first female president of NOA, and she's going to be serving as the president and COO, similar to Doug Bowser. And then also, Nintendo of America is getting its first CE, or not first CEO, but first CEO in a little bit with, why did I just blank on his name? And it is, oh, there it is. Sorry about that. It's going to be,
You find it
you
and
know
lose it
what?
again.
I did. I thought I found it, and then I lost it. So you know what? They're also getting a new CEO, and so you can find all that information, including the things that I cannot find and read right now, on NintendoFuse.com.
Speaking of new females and leads and stuff, so Nintendo Music got some updates this time around. This time, Princess Peach Showtime has dropped, like the entire soundtrack has dropped on September 29th. Then October 1st, we got the brand new tracks that are being included in the Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 package. There's like some new songs and stuff there from there that were added to those existing soundtracks. And then just yesterday on October 6th, we got the soundtrack for Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year-Old Door. And all these have been added to Nintendo Music. And be sure to take a listen, like I always like to do with all these new tracks and songs that are now available.
And speaking of NSO, the GBA app has gained 2 new games, and these are significant games because these are the first games on the GBA app that are actually third party from Bandai Namco. We haven't had this before, so this opens up a whole new door. But we got both Klonoa, the Empire of Dreams, and Mr. Driller 2. They launched on September 24th, so they are available right now for your enjoyment.
And I found it. You know, the reason why I couldn't find it in my article is because I forgot to put his name in there. It's Satoru Shibata, who is he's going to be serving as the CEO of Nintendo of America. But in addition to that, Mario Kart World also got a big update on September 23rd, version 1.3.0. There's a ton of updates in this. You can find the whole list over on NintendoFuse.com. But some of the highlights, just going through a few of these things. You can now join friends playing Knockout Tour by just selecting friends from the online play. You can also during free roam now displays locations of the P-switches that you've run over and the Peach medallions that you've obtained. So what Barry was alluding to earlier, easier to find those things as you're going around, see what you've hit and what you haven't hit so far. In free roam, you can also transform into the character that pulled you into the UFO, so that's kind of fun. It's also easier to encounter the UFO in free roam when spectating in Knockout Tour or Balloon Battle or online play. You can also now choose to watch even if you're holding the Joy-Con 2 controller or the Joy-Con horizontally. For some reason, that was not allowed before. And also decrease the time between and when an item box is taken by someone and the next time it's revived, which is interesting. I actually think that it should be lengthened, but that's my opinion. Only I think it should be tough to get those things like it used to be. Get off my lawn. And then they also reduce the force of jumps when landing on arrival from above, decrease the amount of time between when you finish, when spectating, when a knockout tour, a balloon battle, or something starts. All these different updates and things that they've fixed within the game. Really, really huge update. So if you haven't played Mario Kart World recently, maybe it's time to boot it back up and see all these updates.
And finally, at the beginning of the podcast, we're talking about the games played. Nintendo did what they're famous for is just shadow drop entire games. So on September 24th, our big day of relevance here, Fire Emblem Shadows got dropped onto the iOS and Android stores. So if you want to check out some bite-sized battles and more tactic battles and are not really into Fire Emblem Heroes but want to see more Fire Emblem stuff, be sure to check out this brand new game that's now available.
Nice. They shadow dropped Shadows. Well, lots of stuff going on. I mean, lots of big stuff, game announcements, all these kind of things. I noticed that the Indie Game Fest or Indie Fan Fest that happened, the press releases that came out are all from Denver, and I was like, wait a second, are these people right around me? I should know about this. I'm going to drive down. But it was just an online thing, so it's not like I could actually been there. But I was like, I need to look more into that. Yeah, like different cool stuff's gonna standing out. I'm excited to get back into Mario Kart World. Probably won't be playing any Fire Emblem, even though it's different. Probably won't be playing any of this. You know, I'm not a big Fire Emblem fan. Excited about what Devin Pritchard is going to do with NOA. Excited that that Doug Bowser gets to move on. The thing that upsets me the most is that like we won't have Bowser in control of NOA anymore. That's just fun that he has that kind of a name. But yeah, those are things that kind of stood out to me. What about you, Greg?
Yeah, I didn't really check out the State of Play or even the Indie Fan Fest, but yeah, good luck to the new Nintendo NOA president, and hopefully everything starts righting the ship a little bit more. It's been kind of interesting without having somebody leading like the NOA branch previously, like since like Iwata, but I'm glad that that's kind of almost resolved, I guess. But yeah, I don't know if there's a whole lot else to say on that kind of stuff. I'm sure it's just office politics as normal, but I guess. Oh, one thing I was thinking about was I almost kind of wish they had made like a little scene because when they made the introduction, like they did like a short kind of thing like with Bowser and stuff like next to the Doug Bowser. I almost wish they would almost have like Mario jump on like an axe or like bridge or something, and he just kind of like fell down. But that would have been kind of funny there to do a little tie in there. But um, yeah, just random thoughts here. The Nintendo music tracks didn't really check out any of these in particular. Wasn't really looking for these types of games to be added to the service. Didn't check out the NSO updates either. In terms of Mario Kart World, I'm really glad that they fixed a lot of those things. It's kind of was I know I think we said in our game chat I wish that like those P switch things and the medallions had initially showed on like the map or like even like I know Barry had suggested fast travel at the time, but I'm just glad that it's I guess the
Fast
same is
travel
always
now.
better. Yeah, I mean
They
I meant like the each of the P switches or whatever you had said
no, no,
you had
no.
wanted, but
You can fast travel to the P switches, I believe,
oh
now.
yeah,
If you've actually stomped on them, like if you, as long as
yeah.
you've done it once.
Yeah, I guess I haven't really played it since they started updating the game, but yeah, so hopefully this might actually get me to get back into the game as well because I really had high hopes for it, and then it was just kind of a disappointment at launch. And then, as stated, I've already played Shadows and hoping to get some more time in and continue playing through the main story mode there.
Nice. Yeah, actually, I'm looking at the list and it says now you can select a P switch from the map and move to a location near the P switch. So that was part of the update as well. So yeah, lots of really cool stuff in that update. Barry, what'd you think?
Yeah, so going from the top, the state of play had a lot of stuff I wasn't interested in, but it did have a truly amazing trailer for a game that is on Switch. It's out now, and the Switch 2 version's coming out shortly, and that is Sonic Racing Transformed, or Crossworlds. It's Crossworlds is the new
Mm.
one, where they showed off Mega Man and Proto Man joining, and it was full of nostalgia, bait, Mega Man love, and I just can't believe Nintendo and Sega are giving Mega Man way more love and the better treatment than Capcom is, and that's so weird. But yeah, that was the biggest thing for me. There were some other cool things. I know there's a Halloween game that my wife really loves Halloween, so she might check that out. But yeah, it was interesting. It wasn't Wolverine looks good.
Hmm.
Wolverine was shown off too. Wolverine does look good. The Indie Fan Fest I didn't catch, but so many indie games, and I feel like they often just get forgotten about. So I'm really glad that these developers had a place to show off what's coming, and I hope they get the love. And I can't wait to see which of them come to consoles, and I'll definitely be checking them out there. I wish the new president and new CEO of NOA the best of luck, and I hope they excel and succeed in ways that even Reggie couldn't. My big hope, however, is that they have a presence like Reggie did. No one can have the same presence as Reggie. But as much as I like Doug Bowser, he didn't do a lot. He
No.
wasn't there in the face. He didn't he was at a store and handed out the first Switch too. That's expected. He didn't get involved with the gamers. He didn't get involved. He was at the Game Awards, but didn't make his presence known. He was just he almost felt like I am a businessman. I am president. And I'm not saying he didn't love games or anything like that, but he didn't feel like the gamers president the way that Reggie felt like the gamers president. It was like if you go back and watch early E3s and you watch Cammy Dunaway versus Reggie. And Cammy was the very dry, awkward, corporate person on stage, saying terminology that she had no idea what it was because it was the corporate buzzword at the time. But it was very different than Reggie coming out and, taking names and everything. I want to see that again. I want that type of energy. And I also want to see them give the players what they want. I know one of the first things I ever wrote when I joined NintendoFuse was how NOA hates us, and I still feel that way. There's a lot of things that NOA still refuses to give us, and we have to fight for, and we still don't always get it. And I want to see us finally get that. I want to see them finally treat the Americas as all Canada, Mexico, United States treat us the right way. Give us things. Like, I'd love to see them come out and be like, we're reinstating Mario 35. We're bringing Mario 3D All Stars back digitally and Fire Emblems digitally. We're bringing Mother 3 over. You know, we're gonna do things that we should be doing. Let's get some collections. I like, Disney used to do the vault. Could you imagine like a special collection type thing of like Nintendo classics, like a nice physical set you can get, like all the Mario Collection 1, Mario Collection 2, just done like archival, Zelda collection, like the world of Nintendo. That would sell like hotcakes. People go crazy. An Earthbound physical collection with Earthbound Beginnings, Earthbound and Mother 3. You're telling me that wouldn't sell? I say bull, that would sell like crazy, and you know it. And yes, they do the NSO stuff, but let's 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 do some more. Come on,
Yeah.
give us something fun.
Before you can, I feel like I have to say something. Like, number one, I don't think we can actually expect Devin Pritchard to actually step up like Reggie did at all. However, I must say thank you to Nintendo for recognizing that Doug Bowser was not that kind of a person, and instead of putting him in the limelight and watching him suffer, they just didn't do that, which was a smart
True.
move. If it's not that type of person and the personality, don't throw
Correct.
them into the spotlight, because that's not where they want to be. And from
Agreed.
what I've heard, I don't think that Devin Pritchard is that kind of person as well. I think she may continue on very similar to Doug Bowser. She may be a little more present because she is a little bit more of a gamer. She has young kids. Where, I mean, Bowser actually, he tweeted the other day when Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 came out the other day. He was excited about that, so that was cool because he doesn't really do that much. He doesn't talk about the games he's playing and stuff. So I think we may see more from Pritchard in that area, but I think it's going to be far from what Reggie did.
Reggie. But that's what we
But
need. We need someone to connect.
but the good thing is that I think Satoru Shibata, the guy that I forgot his name earlier, he was actually the head of NOE for a while. And Nintendo of Europe actually got a lot more cool stuff, because I know you've imported a lot of things, Barry. So maybe his influence might help some of what you're saying for
I hope
NOA to
so.
actually get some of those cool things, because we know that NOE at least did for a long time. They got a lot of those cool things when America did not. So maybe we might see a little bit of that.
I know we got like Doshin the Giant. We didn't get Doshin the Giant. Monolith Soft, before Xenoblade, between Bet and Kados Origins and Xenoblade, they actually made another game entirely that was a Nintendo exclusive, first party, called Disaster Day of Crisis for the Wii. And it
Mm-hmm.
came out in Japan, it came out in NOE, so it's in English, but America, they're like, nah, we're not going to give that. Like, come on, bring that over. Let's get some more of those games, especially like we just got another code where
Mm-hmm.
we'd gotten Trace Memory, but we never got the second game. We finally got that. Let's do more of that. Bring us more games that we never got, because you know what? They may be old games, but if we never got to play them, they're new for us. As for the GBA stuff, I look forward to playing Klonoa. I love the first two, but I never got to play the GBA game, so I definitely look forward to whenever I have a little bit of time to run through that. The Mario Kart World update, like I said, I did go back and get the other characters. That should have been there at launch. I'm sorry, like that. I feel like this is more catch up to what it should have been at launch. All of these, like we talked about, I talked about it in the game chat that it should have had that fast travel, and now they implemented it months later. That should have been there right from the get go.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm happy for this, but I'm also disappointed that we still don't have DLC characters. DKC or DK, Bonanza got DLC before Mario Kart World, and that was prime ready for Donkey Kong DLC to coincide and use it as a platform to cross promote, and they didn't do it. The two main characters, DK and Pauline, are both in Mario Kart World, and they both have less costumes than the other characters. Easy money, Nintendo. You're just throwing it away. And as for Fire Emblem Shadows, I did download it, but I have not played it. But I think it's kind of weird that they just shadow dropped a Nintendo first party IP, even mobile. Every other one has had some kind of trailer or promotion or hype, and they just kind of like, it's out. You didn't even know it existed to begin with, but it's out. Have fun. No fanfare.
Yep.
I remember the days when Dragalia Lost got a direct, even though they killed that game. That got its own standalone direct. This is Fire Emblem and it gets nothing.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, Nintendo's in a weird place, I feel like, right now with that, especially with the DLC, with these updates. I mean, because we've heard that that Mario Kart World was in the works for a long time, that it probably was a Switch game that got pushed to Switch 2. So it's like, why weren't these things already in that? But then Donkey Kong Bonanza makes it seem like they pulled a part out of the game and released it as DLC later for whatever reason, because that's like, yeah, that should have been included in that, my opinion. But those kind of things. So it seems like they're in a weird place right now, and I wonder. And we could go on and on and on about this. So maybe this could be a topic for a different episode at some point. But I wonder where, like, with a lot of Nintendo's standing people who have been with the company for a long time getting to retirement or close to retirement, I wonder if that is affecting anything that's really going on. So I wonder if there's like shakeup or anything like that. So not sure. Well, let's jump into the main discussions for this episode. And the first one is a strange one. We woke up this morning to an animated video that Nintendo dropped across all of its social media called Close to You. And this is a digitally animated video that looks a lot like something you would see from Pixar. I mean, it is high quality and it's mostly of a baby. You see the mom of the baby at the beginning and the end of the video, but mostly a baby. And the blocks and pacifier and different things like that in the room start moving, but we don't really know why. It looks like they're floating and just controlling themselves sometimes. And eventually the baby starts to walk because it's wanting to get the pacifier that flew across the room into its crib. And all of a sudden the mom walks in and sees the baby walking and is really excited that the baby's walking. And then it basically ends. So I have no idea what this is all about. And I think a lot of people have no idea what this is all about. And I just watched it and I was like, what in the world? What I don't understand. There have been speculation, of course, that maybe this is baby Rosalina when she was grown up. Maybe there's like power there or something like that, and that's what's controlling it. There's other people that are thinking maybe it's a Pikmin thing. Maybe it's actually a little tiny Pikmin that we can't even see that's somehow controlling and moving these things around. There is a clip that is very, very faint and small that apparently something red underneath the cabinet, I think, is moving. You can see it right now in the back on the left that's moving. So maybe that was a Pikmin moving in the background or something like that. There's a lot of different speculation out there, but we have no idea what this is really all about yet. And Nintendo only said close to you, and that's it. No context, no nothing. Just dropped it across all their social media, including YouTube, and gave us no context or any explanation whatsoever. So, Barry, what do you think about this?
My favorite thing was your reaction when I shared this morning. Was I the one to break it to you, or did you see it before I said anything?
No, I think you were the first time, and you really you shared it like right after it happened. I think it was only like 15 minutes after they posted it when you shared it.
Yeah, I woke up to this and I was just like, the F? Yeah, so I've seen the Rosalina and Peach thing, that it could be like, is a baby Peach and Rosalina's really her mother. I've seen the Pikmin, which was my initial thought. I've seen other people say, oh, she's using her PK powers and this is an Earthbound thing. Um, you know, yeah, other people say it's part of the Super Mario Galaxy movie. This looks like Illumination. Other people say it looks like Pixar. Um, it's got to be something. This was not cheaply made. This had care to it. There has to be a reason for this. Some people I've seen say, "Oh, does this mean we're gonna get like HD ports of the baby games that were put on like the DS and stuff like that?" It's like, no, Nintendo didn't make those. There's something underlying here. There's gonna be a reason, and it's gonna be one of those where the answer is either going to be like, oh yeah, we figured it out, or wow, none of us even thought about that. I actually saw someone say it was Star Tropics 3, Zoda's back again as a baby. I was like, you know what? I would take it at this point.
Well, it's obviously that this mom is not shocked at what just happened at all. Like, she found
Yeah.
the pacifier somehow in the mobile in the crib. Like, what? She wasn't shocked at all. So something's going on there. I have heard people also talk about. I mean, Nintendo has this animation studios, the movie studio thing that they purchased, I believe, like a year or two ago, and so this could potentially have been put out by them, maybe as just a test to show what they can do or something like that as well. But it seems like it's more than that. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, so I did see like Barry's initial comment, but I didn't actually watch the trailer until like just before the podcast here. But when I was kind of looking through it, and I immediately got like the Rosalina impression. I mean, like they have it down to even like the hairstyle kind of thing, where it looks like if you were to like extend out the little hair piece in the front, it would like cover her eye, like she's kind of known for, and like the eye color kind of matches up right away. Um, so I think this has something to do with like Mario Galaxy. I don't know if it's more like the movie or maybe it's some sort like a small clip in the movie. Could even be like like Pixar has always done like the little shorts, like kind of like before like big movies too. So it could just be like a small thing that they just kind of threw together and will be airing kind of before and just trying to see people's reaction to it. I mean, it's really hard to know exactly what the intention is behind this, but to me, it really seems to me to fit a lot, mostly more with Rosalina. I don't think they would have like a Pikmin thing and have a very not even like a nominal presence or like some of the other games that Barry was listing off. It didn't seem like there was like a lot of thing there. It was honestly at least to me, it seemed like there was a lot of focus was on the baby and the mother interaction, and it
What about what
does
was
kind
under
of
the
seem,
crib?
yeah.
What was that?
I mean, at least to me, it just kind of more like the powers to be and like the different things that she was doing with like moving the pacifier and I don't know, like the uncontrollable power kind of scenario with like how Spider-Man always kind of has that kind of stuff, and you're new to power and you don't really know how to control it and understand it, and I don't know. At least that
Dave,
seems more to
bring up
fit
the
to
crib.
me, but
Yeah. Which part you thinking
with
of?
with the Pikmin, where it appears Pikmin.
Oh
It,
yeah.
w- it
That's what I was
I don't
trying
know if
to
Greg saw that or not.
find it. Can't
It's when the
remember.
pacifier gets launched onto like the chair area.
Oh, there.
Here,
There
it's
you go. So
yeah.
it should be soon.
So look under the crib when it shows the crib in the next scene, Greg.
Yeah.
It's
So
gonna pan
it's gonna be
back,
in the
and
left side of the screen.
you can see something
Yeah,
there.
right
There, you
there.
see it
See it?
moving. You see it
yeah,
moving under
yeah,
the.
We'll play it
yeah, there
again.
was something moving, but yeah.
Yeah, right there.
What is that? There's
So
definitely
what is
something
that?
moving there.
Let's zoom in
I mean,
and
but it's also like how
enhance.
were the
Zoom
blocks
in and
moving? But
enhance.
Because if she's
Yeah,
focusing on
right there.
the pacifier, that's something moving on its own.
What is that? One of my favorite parts is coming up right here. This is one of my favorite parts because I thought this was hilarious. They actually put a ball landing on the kid's head and knocking it out. I was that's hilarious. The ball just falls right on its head or her head. I don't know. But yeah, I have no idea what this could be. Like all these things, like it makes a little bit of sense, but if you like play it out to like it's full, like it doesn't quite make sense. Like Pikmin, for instance. I'm like, okay, maybe there is something there, but like I don't think Pikmin can like make things just fly around. Like usually they're carrying them, and so that's weird. Or but if it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like Rosalina, I guess does the thing is that is Rosalina Peach's mom or Peach is Rosalina's mom? I forget.
I don't think they've ever made either of that canon, but maybe
Right,
they're
right,
doing
right.
yeah,
it
But it's what people
nothing was
think.
officially
It's what
canon, but
people think.
yeah, I believe Galaxy One had alluded to Rosalina being Peach's mom, but I don't know if I'm
Right.
remembering that
Which
correctly
is what I
though.
thought too,
Because even
which
though it kind of yeah.
I don't think Peach doesn't have powers, so if it'd be the opposite, that maybe Rosalina has those powers to do that, but Peach wouldn't be able to like move this thing around. So, but maybe it's Rosalina in the other room making these things happen while Peach is like, I don't get it. It doesn't
Does
make
that mean
any
that's Peach's
sense.
grandmother? If
I
that's the case,
don't know. It doesn't
Yeah,
make any
because it almost
sense.
feels like it could be like, yeah. It almost kind of seems like the mom could be like almost like a Peach because she's got like the same color hair, but nothing
Right.
else like really lines. Or at least like with some of Peach's hair. I know Peach usually has blonde hair for the most part, but I feel like it. I don't know. It looks like more like impressionable to be Peach based on the way it was like mom looks, I guess. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And there's like no credits, no nothing. Like no hints
yeah.
at anything. And again, the only captions or YouTube description or anything, it just says close to you. And that's it. And the whole time I was thinking, like as I'm watching it, I was like, okay, they're gonna pull this in somehow, and it's basically like an advertisement for Switch or whatever. It's like, oh, okay, kids and parents coming together to play games. That makes sense. This doesn't make sense. And they turned off the comments on YouTube, which is fun. So like,
But they
but
didn't
people
turn off
are
the comments on Twitter.
no. So people are speculating like crazy. We would love to know what you think this trailer or this video or this short or whatever is all about. Let us know on social media. Let us know in the chat. Let us know on our YouTube comments. Let us know in Discord. We would love to know what you saw in it, what you're thinking, and I hopefully we don't have to wait too much longer. Or maybe this is just one of those things that Nintendo just drops with no explanation, and they're just going to let it sit there for forever, and they never give us anything. Like,
What if at the end of that, where she's, hugging the baby, she's so proud and she's like, "Hun, come in here," because she wants to tell her husband about the baby walking, and the door opens and it's Bowser, and like then it cuts and it just ends there.
Then we
I
at least
don't.
confirm which series it's from.
It's true. Yeah, there's some magical powers going on. That's all I know. So, and it's very well animated. That's another
Yes.
thing too. So whoever is behind this, which I'm assuming is probably that studio that they bought, I would guess that's who it is. I don't know. I have no idea. No way of finding out right now. But I would guess that's who's behind it. And if so, whoever it is did a really good job. Like the textures, especially on the stuffed animals and different things like that, were just really spot on. And like I said, to me, it screams Pixar or Illumination level quality. This is very well done, but confusing as heck. I have
Maybe it's
no
like a
idea.
more of a. I just kind of thought maybe it's more of like a test to kind of see how people would react to this art style thing. So I don't know if there could be something that's more into
Just
this studio canon thing.
yeah, that's just test footage. Yeah, it could be. It could be. Well, again, like we said, if you have any ideas, speculation, whatever, let us know. We'll have some fun conversations around close to you, at least for the foreseeable future. Maybe Nintendo will drop another video on us tomorrow morning, and we'll find out more. Maybe it's like a series of like 3 videos or 5 videos. I'm like,
Far
oh,
from
now it makes
you.
sense. What's that?
Gonna be called Far From You.
Yeah, exactly. As this kid ages, that's probably what it's actually going to be. Is like this kid's going to age and like start playing games and then leave his parents, and we're all going to start crying, especially you guys that are parents. Um,
Nintendo's version of Toy Story.
exactly.
Yeah, there
That's
you
what's
go.
going to happen.
Yeah, she's going off to college and waving goodbye, and like the pacifier sitting on the mother's shoulder, like bouncing, like
Yeah,
goodbye to.
yeah.
And the
That.
little blocks are all dancing, and they
Yep.
don't want to go off to college. They haven't been played with in years.
Yep. But then
And
the
then one
final
of the blocks
video.
at the end like rotates and her name is scribbled in it, and we
Mm,
see who it is.
but then the final video, maybe it's her as an adult passing it on to her own kids.
The fourth video is just their child standing over the grave. And it's like
Gosh.
game over.
Wow.
It's just called.
Wow,
It's just
that
called
went
game
dark.
over.
That went dark. Wow. All right.
That
Well,
was worth it for the reaction alone.
well, moving on to something else pretty dark. Our second and final main discussion for this episode is just a general update and brief discussion around all the crazy decisions that Microsoft's been making lately. So, Barry, I thought it'd be helpful for you to kind of lead us through some of these things because I know you've been probably paying attention to it more than Greg and I'm assuming, Greg, that you haven't been paying attention to it. I have not. Like I've just kind of been hearing little bits here and there, kind of following the story. But I don't play my Xbox as much as I used to, mostly because it was a Rocket League machine, and I haven't been playing Rocket League lately. So a lot of these things don't really impact me because I've already got my Xbox. I don't pay for Game Pass. So a lot of these different things aren't directly impacting me right now. However, I know they have larger impacts on the overall industry, and so let's chat about those things. So Barry, fill us in on what's been happening.
Yeah, so as we all know, Xbox has been in this weird situation, right? They didn't do really well with the Xbox One, and the just really hasn't done that well either. And Microsoft was the first of the big three to really put their games on other platforms, and we've seen it even with the Switch. Games like Ori came over, and obviously like Minecraft, and Microsoft owns that. And Microsoft has been buying studios left and right, and people have been speculating, what does it mean? What's going on? And a lot of people just use Xbox for Game Pass. It's one price; they get to play what they want. They don't have a lot of time to play games, and it serves them, which is perfectly fine. Now Microsoft is shifting things around, and their first big and probably the biggest of the bombshells was they decided to hike up Game Pass Ultimate by 50%. It's going up to $30 a month, from $20 to $30 a month. That is insane. For clarification, Nintendo's online with the Family Pass is $80 a year, and that gets up to 8 people. This is $30 a month, one person. PC Game Pass also rose up to $16.49 a month. They have some other newer tiers lower down, but people are not happy about this. This is a big, big increase. They also then dropped that the DLC discount for having Game Pass is no longer going to apply. So the discount that was previously provided is gone. They're supposedly going to add more reward points, but this is just like bad news on top of bad news. And if you remember back in the day, for all those older people, we used to be able to play consoles online for free. Like that was just a thing. You played online for free. And
Mhm.
Xbox was the first one to start charging. And then PlayStation followed. And then Nintendo followed. So in the online space, Xbox has been the trendsetter. What does this mean? Will PSN see a price hike? Will Nintendo have a price hike? Uh, the fallout from this has been, GameStop is promoting that they're still selling it for $20. Screw Microsoft, and they probably have made a killing. I know people who have like stocked up 3 years worth of Game Pass at $20. Still very expensive, but that's what they chose to do. If you remember, Nintendo raised the price of consoles, Sony raised the price, and Microsoft have now raised the price of consoles as well. So we're in a very weird situation in the industry, and people speculated this is them just trying to liquidate. Like they're killing themselves. The main reason people bought an Xbox was for Game Pass, and you're pricing it out of those people. Now they might as well just buy another system, especially when so many games are on sale anyway. And GameStop's always off. Like for free, buy used games, buy used games. Microsoft have claimed that they are not out of it and they are preparing another system. Rumors say it could be more PC based. We don't know. Anything's possible, but this has been a very big shakeup. And for a company that's in the quote unquote third place out of three, to do something like this, usually they do some kind of something drastic to gain people. There was such a mass exodus of people canceling their Game Pass that the servers shut down. The website became unavailable because so many people were canceling. That is not a good sign. What does that say for the other companies going forward? Will Nintendo follow suit? Will they raise NSO? I know it's always been one of the things we speculated whenever there's been a new system added. Obviously, we have Virtual Boy coming. Will NSO go up? Will they stay the same? They're adding features. Are they going to charge for those? It's always a worry. We don't want it to go up. Hopefully, this is a cautionary tale. But I'm curious, what are your guys' thoughts on all this and the state of the industry as whole, and what kind of ripple effects do you think this is going to have? Because it's pretty big and pretty damning.
Yeah. Greg, what do you think?
I mean, I really feel like a lot of this unfortunately started with like the Switch 2 because I feel that's where we got like this $70 and $80 games, and then even shortly after was like, okay, now all the accessories are going to be $5 or $10 more, and then oh, now this original Switch OLED is now going to be like $50 more, and then obviously there was some pushback from like Walmart and stuff like, screw it, we'll just actually kind of cut the price and like sell it for cheaper than what is recommended. And then now we have kind of almost the same situation going on here with Xbox. So it's like now they're trying to raise their prices and everything with that now. Just seeing, I believe even like them trying to do some of the update, like the game prices too, but I think they had to like revert those too. I think I thought I'd heard somewhere for this Xbox. I think they were trying to do the $70 games and then they got a lot of pushback and then it had to like drop back down or something. I thought I heard that somewhere, but um, it's just been getting kind of really insane. It's like it's gaming is becoming a lot more of a luxury and it's kind of pricing a lot of people out of the market. And like, do you really own the game or do you just own like the plastic and like all these like stuff going on with basically all three of the companies now because they've all rose prices across the board for different things, or whether it's the console or the games or accessories and now like the online services are seeing a boost, like a bump in Xbox, and then maybe Nintendo's like, hey, well, they rose theirs, let's raise ours. And like, so it's almost like, well, we rose the price of our games, and then the other one's like, well, our game should be worth more too. So like, it's almost like they're like just feeding off of each other, almost like they like sat back and like said like, hey, we could just universally increase the prices of all of our things altogether. And like, I don't
Thankfully,
know,
the
it's
people are
like it's
fighting back, though. Which
yeah.
is really good to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, except I mean, I saw stuff like Mario Kart World wouldn't have done so well if it was like wasn't bundled in with like the system. So like that really helped it a lot there as well, just because it was the first $80 game, and perhaps that's why the we haven't really seen any DLC because I know there was even some backlash. Like the DK one was overpriced and didn't really add a lot of major content to the game, and I don't know, like it's really a rough place right now. I mean, I know Mario Kart DLC would easily sell, but it doesn't mean it would sit well with a lot of the fans that already had to pay $80 for the game. And
What if
then
it was
now we
free,
have to
though?
buy whatever. Yeah. I mean, that's why a lot of these updates have been free so far, like the one we just covered. So, I mean, it's a lot more smaller and not
Oh, they
impactful
would have been
stuff. And,
killed if they charged for that update. They would have been
Yeah.
killed.
but Yeah, I mean, it's just seems like it's a really rough year for gaming across the board. I mean, and it unfortunately started with the Switch 2 announcements and everything, and then it just kind of just bled through the other big three and over the last whatever 6 months.
Mm-hmm. I think I, I've got I've got weird thoughts around all this because I feel like I'm able like somehow like I'm trying to see it from all these different perspectives, and I can definitely tell like as a gamer, like if I was actually subscribing to Game Pass and all this stuff, I'd be ticked, but I'm not. I'm not subscribing to Game Pass because I already thought it was too much money for me. For my situation, that's too much for me to spend. I'm not going to get nearly as much enjoyment for that price And so I'd rather just buy the games that I want to play and that's it, rather than paying a subscription service. And so for me, it doesn't affect me directly at this moment. Maybe down the line, we'll see. But in this moment, it doesn't affect me. But I'm also like, we've seen it time and time again with Netflix raising their prices and Apple TV Plus raising their prices and Disney Plus raising their prices and all these different things. And so for subscription streaming services, this is just what happens. Like, the problem is that it hasn't happened incrementally like it has for Netflix and Apple TV Plus and Disney Plus and stuff like that, where like every year or two they raise it by $1 or two, and then they raise it by another couple dollars. This is wait. All right, huge price hike. That's going to grab people and it's going to shake them, and that's going to have a bigger impact. And where I think people have said every time Netflix increases their prices, they're like, "Well, I'm going to cancel now," and then nobody ever does. Uh, but we actually are seeing people cancel their Xbox, and so that's interesting. And I think it's because they held off, and then huge price hike. But then it's not just a price hike. It's also, we're going to remove things that you're used to actually getting with this. So it's like, give us more money for less content. That's a pain. And so, but all of that to say, I think we're in this growing pains section, like thing within the video game industry, because there are so many games, guys. We talk about this every episode. There's way too many games. Way too many games for us to cover on a regular basis. Way too many games for us to play on a regular basis. Way too many games for us to even remember. Like, some of these times we're like, oh yeah, that's a game I forgot about. Like that happens all the time. And so there's lots more games out there. People are potentially like selling less games in general, and as on an average, because there's so much out there. The market's just saturated, and so it's harder to make a living making games anymore. But yet you have more and more and more. We just talked about indie games earlier in this episode. There's all this going on, and so how do you make that a growing industry? I get why they think that raising the prices is going to help, because all these people need to be paid. That totally makes sense. And yet they're having layoffs and game cancellations and all these other things that are happening in the midst of it. So it's a weird place. And I think raising prices totally makes sense. As a consumer, I hate it. I don't want to pay more money as a consumer. But as someone that's able to step out of it, I understand, because, like, raising prices for everything. I pay twice as much for a gallon of milk than I did, 5 years ago. All those things happen, but the video game industry has hesitated in all that, and so we haven't seen those prices increase as much, and now we are. And it's a weird place.
People are always hesitant with price increase because naturally it costs more. Like you mentioned, a great point, Steve, is that other companies have done it incrementally, slowly but surely. Um, this is the polar opposite of that. This is just a slap in the face, and it's so drastic that people are finally taking action, which is great to see. We have games. You talk about the price of games, talking about Mario Kart being $80 and all that. Games used to be that expensive. There were $90 games back in the Genesis and the Super Nintendo. A
Mhm.
lot of people forgot about those, but they were there. They were expensive. Cartridges were expensive. They only came down for the PlayStation and the Saturn because the CD format was significantly cheaper than the cartridges. So the manufacturing came down, thus they were able to lower the price. Remember, N64 games were still expensive. If a game came out on PlayStation X and N64, the N64 one was sometimes double the price because of the cartridge. So as technology got better and better, the format didn't cost that much more. Like a CD to a DVD to a Blu-ray didn't cost that much more to manufacture. What happened was the development costs to develop the games went up as technology went up. So they started to raise the price 30, 40, 50, 60, and it stayed at 60 for a long time. For longer than it should have, really. And then to catch up, instead of going to 64.99, they went right to 70, right to 80. And again, those drastic increases, people notice. I remember back when I was with Premium, the first 3 series I was a part of, we did $40 games. They were $40. And then when we did the 4th series of titles, they were 45. And people flipped. Why are these 45 instead of 40? It was a $5 increase.
Mm-hmm.
Things got more expensive. It cost more to manufacture. Thus, price had to be raised. And we explained that to people. And some people understood and other people complained. And that was just a small increment increase. And we had to, because of the changing, shifting markets. Physical media is expensive. I know some people say, well, it should all just be digital, then you don't have to worry about that. This is your digital food. This is an example of what it's going to be like if we remove physical. They could raise the price to whatever they want, and you're going to have to either pay it to enjoy what you want or not and miss out. That's the end of the story. This is why choice is so important. This is why different media and mediums for that media are so important. We need competition. Even if, like, Microsoft says, I'm leaving the race, I'm going out and being third party. Some people will cheer, some people will cry. I will cry. I won't cry because I love my Xbox. Like I said, this is the first time I've really booted it up, and I pretty much turned it into a glorified karaoke machine. But I will cry because if there's no competition, if it's just PlayStation and Nintendo, they complement each other more than they compete with each other. More people will have a PlayStation and a Switch in this day and age than to have just one or the other. And because of that, will they both succeed in selling? Yeah, but Microsoft really isn't making that much of a dent. But now they can do whatever they want. Now they can raise the price. Nintendo already does that. You want to? Doug Bowser pretty much said it. Like, if the Switch 2 is too expensive for you, then it's not for you, right? Like, terrible marketing. Terrible, should never say things like that. If you want Nintendo games, you want to play Donkey Kong Bonanza, you have one choice: buy a Switch 2. That's it. It's the only place. And that's going to be the case even more so if there's no competition. And people already look past that as a reason to get into Switch. Even if they're PlayStation or Xbox gamers, they'll get a Switch for Nintendo IP because they know it's the only place they can get it. And luckily, Nintendo IP for the most part is worth it. You're getting your bang. Um, but what about everything else? What about all those other titles? Exclusives are starting to disappear, but if you cut out one of the major players entirely, the exclusives come back. And now what if Sony says, we're going to raise our price? Why
Mm-hmm.
not? We're already doing it.
Yeah.
What if they decide PlayStation 6, $1,000? Oh, you want the new GTA? We just paid Rockstar. It's now exclusive. You got to pay.
Mm-hmm.
You want the new God of War? It's exclusive. You got to pay. And they can do it. And if it fails, they could always just, we'll throw it to PC too. It's not going to
Yeah.
go to Nintendo, but we'll throw it to PC. It's a very dangerous slope, like you mentioned, Steve. It's a real turning point in the industry. It's growing pains. And we're either going to come out of this in a better position, or we're going to come out of this with a lot of people saying, screw it. There's so many games out. I'll play games from years ago that I never got a chance to play. They're new to me and I'll have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who suffers from that? Will Nintendo and Sony suffer? Sure, they'll suffer a bit. But the real people who suffer are the small indie developers who are depending on people buying those consoles to play the games. Steam is great. They will get a lot on Steam, but Steam is also flooded. So they depend on Nintendo. They depend on Sony. They depend on Microsoft for extra numbers. Developers used to get into Game Pass as a way to get extra exposure. That's not as lucrative as it was anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And, they don't make as much now, and that hurts. You know, it's like the starving artist. That's what it is for indie developers right now. They're starving artists.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. For any developers, man, it's, I feel like everything has got to be a passion project anymore because it's going to easily get lost unless you have some sort of big marketing push behind it. You're going to get lost in the mix. It can be a fantastic game, but it's got to be something you're incredibly passionate about and want to see it through, because if not, it's going to get lost in the mix.
Even with a big IP, it could still get lost in the mix.
Totally. Yep. Yeah. Greg, any more thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I have seen a number of other people saying that we're almost preparing for another like crash, almost like back in the '80s, just because of how over like kind of conditions are kind of almost lining up to be similar to that. With like it's just so many different games, and there's tons of them that are not of the highest quality. And then we were just saying like how the highest quality ones can still get lost with the trove of other stuff that's going on. Um, I mean, I don't know if that's honestly coming, but it certainly
Mm-hmm.
don't really wish it upon it, because that's people's livelihoods and lots of families will
Yep.
be impacted, and that's
Mm-hmm.
The
that's really sad situation if something gets that bad. But
the best thing that came from the crash was Nintendo's seal of quality originally. Because the crash happened because there was no control. It was the Wild West. Anyone can make anything, can produce as many copies as they wanted. People only bought because the only way they had was the cover art. And then they got home and the game was crap. And they were like, well, I just spent my money on this crap. I'm not going to do that again. It was ridiculous. With the quality control, it pretty much meant that someone was making sure the games worked. And when you bought a Nintendo game, yes, there are janky Nintendo games, absolutely, don't get me wrong, but the majority of them work. Not
Mm-hmm.
all of them. Some slip through the cracks. I know you're probably saying, well, what about this game? Yes, but the majority of them worked, and the majority of them played, and they were complete. Same with Super Nintendo, Genesis, Master System, even Jaguar, whatever. That was the case. But ever since 2 generations ago, the 360, the PS3, and the Wii specifically, going from that generation on, we got into the idea of patches. Patches have always been a thing on PC, but now patches became a thing on consoles. Patches happen too. There are 2 revisions of Mario 3, Ocarina of Time, you can get red blood or green blood. They happened, but it wasn't enough for you to have to rebuy the game or feel like you were missing out on anything. It wasn't truly content. We're in this age now where games are being rushed out in not complete forms to be patched later and fixed later. And it's to the point that the mentality is a lot of people say, I don't pre order games and I don't buy games at launch. I wait a year to play it because at that point all the updates are out and I'm playing the best version of the game. We just talked about how Mario Kart World had a huge update with things that should have been there at launch, and we're talking about it in October. It happened in late September, but the game launched in June. So, if you played Mario Kart World at launch and played it and finished it and never go back to it, and someone buys it today and plays it, to the person buying it today will have a better experience than you did at launch. And that's what we're into. And that's what's going to lead even into more of a crash, because if people don't buy games at launch or within the launch window, it tells the developer and tells the publisher this is not a good investment. And we don't get sequels to these great games.
Mm-hmm.
Or developers lose their jobs. And it's not their fault. It's the confidence in the industry by the general gamer is gone
Mm-hmm.
because of this culture of patches and updates and patches and updates and DLC and all this stuff, that if you want the definitive complete version of a game, you might as well wait. You might as well say it's 2025. I'm going to look at calendar year 2023 and play through only 2023 or earlier games. And then next year put 2024 in and hit 2025 games back in 2027. And you could do it that way. You'd still never run out of things to play, and you would have a better experience.
Mm-hmm.
And that sucks, because you know who depends on those pre-order numbers? You know who depends on those pre-order sales and those early window sales? Those developers, the
Mm-hmm.
indies. And both developers and indie publishers, there are small publishers too that depend on that. And if those numbers are not good,
Right.
places close up shop.
Right. Well, and I mean, you said earlier too about, a lot of gamers have a Switch and something else or whatever, and we've talked about this many times before. But if the prices keep going up, less and less people are going to be multi-console homes. And I'm wondering too, I'm seeing this more and more. Like of course, PC gaming has been on the rise, for the last several years. That's been very, I think, helpful in a lot of ways to the gaming industry. But it also, this still weird thing is this phone, like this mobile gaming. Like I see a lot more people playing mobile games as I'm traveling, because I'm traveling a lot more lately. As I'm in the airport, I see a lot less Switches and Switch 2s and a lot more just people playing games on their phones as well. So that's got to have a huge impact on the gaming industry as well, because people are not buying consoles or their Switch and playing lots of games on that. Instead, they've got a few games they like to play on their phones as they travel, as they go around, and that's it. And so not only I feel like not only are there's so many more games flooding the market, but then also people are buying less because they're either expensive or the console's expensive, or they've got a few of their mobile games they like going back to, and that's it. That's enough for them.
Mobile's convenient. You have your
Mhm.
phone in your pocket anyways. Oh, I could just pull it out of my pocket and instantly play versus, oh, let
Mhm.
me sit down, take my backpack off, unzip it, take the Switch case out, unzip that,
Mhm.
pull out the Switch, and then turn it on and play it. And then, oh, there's my boarding call. I gotta now turn it off, put it in the case, zip it back up, put it in my backpack,
Yep.
zip it, and then get up versus the phone where you just go, okay, put it in your pocket and get up and you're done.
Yep.
So
Yep.
there's a convenience level there too. And
Absolutely.
we're seeing other property or other companies getting into the portable stage. We have, PlayStation has the Portal
Mhm.
with streaming, and Microsoft just teamed up with the Rogue
Yeah.
Ally
Yeah.
just went up for pre-order,
The
and that was the
issues. Yep.
big thing. You could do Game Pass on it, and then they just upped the price of Game Pass. Rogue must be furious right now.
Well,
Like, what are
that
you doing?
console is supposed to be like what, like $800-900 or something like that too.
$1,000 for the higher end.
$1,000.
It's like 600 and a
Yeah.
thousand are the two tiers.
Yeah.
So people,
So
I know people who bought $1,000
Oh,
Rogue Ally
sure. I
for it,
mean, I know that
and then
like the
and then
first
Xbox
round is
with it.
going to happen. It's the question of, does that have legs to like really
Well,
stay?
yeah, but what I mean is
Probably
they
not.
bought it for using Game Pass on it as well because they
Oh,
travel. And then this price increase on the Game Pass has people canceling like, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't have
yeah.
bought that."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that hurts.
That's expensive. Like that's really expensive. Like you have to be playing a lot of Game Pass games to be able to find that worth it.
Yeah, the $30 a month. And remember, Game Pass games, they disappear too.
Mhm.
So it's not like it's on Game Pass forever. Everything is set. There's a timer, and eventually the rights go out and they leave Game Pass every month, just like Netflix.
Yep.
Games leave Game Pass every month.
Well, let us know what you guys think about all this as well. Like I said, let us know in the chat if you haven't done so yet, but also in the comments on our YouTube, Discord, all of our social media. Would love to be able to hear what your thoughts are on all this, and how you think it's going to affect the gaming industry as well. But let's move on to our final segment, and that's what games are going to be coming up over the next couple weeks. As usual, we're going to be scrolling that on the screen for the video version, compliments of Metacritic's site, but then also kind of talking about some of the ones that are notable, stand out to us, and what we're going to be playing. So if you are watching the video version, you can just follow along. But a couple of those games that are going to be coming out for Switch and Switch 2 over the next couple weeks that we think you'd be probably, need to pay attention to is October 9th. We're getting Yuka Replayly. It's just so difficult to pronounce sometimes. It's coming out from a game publisher that we may know around here. And then October 10th, we're getting Little Nightmares Enhanced Edition and Nightmares 3. Little Nightmares 2, I believe, just came out just a couple days ago, if I remember correctly. We're also getting Disgaea 7 Complete, and then also Ease versus Trails in the Sky Alternative Saga. And then October 14th is Just Dance 2026 edition. Hey guys, we still haven't reviewed 2025 edition. Just a reminder. And then also October 16th, we're getting Pokemon Legends ZA finally. And October 17th, I thought this was important for all of us. Elf on the Shelf is coming out with a Christmas Heroes game. So get ready for the holidays with Elf on the Shelf on October 17th. But Greg, what are you expecting to play over the next couple weeks? Any of these games or hitting the backlog?
Pretty much nothing from this. So probably more of the backlog and the game chat games to hopefully try to wrap up and get the year into a better place. But yeah, hopefully be more like Silk Song and some other games have been putting off. So at least that's my plan with the upcoming travel plans and this up next weekend.
Nice. Barry, how about you?
I like how Greg's like nothing, and I'm over here like sweating, like oh my god, like
Yeah.
I got
Elf on
to
the
finish
Shelf, man.
the Elf on the Shelf. I gotta finish UFC Toys as best I can. You can replay. I want to play, but it has to go on the back burner unfortunately because Ease versus Trails of the Sky is coming out, and I gotta switch to that. And then of course Pokemon Legends
So
ZA the week after.
before we jump into that, like, so I didn't look into this. Is this really a combination of like two of your favorite franchises?
Yeah, it's a fighting game between
Okay,
the two
nice.
characters. Yeah, absolutely, it is.
Wow.
It's a fighting
I saw
game
that on the
from
list. I was
Falcom.
like, oh my gosh, Barry is going to be in heaven.
Oh no, yeah, I believe it came out originally on the PSP, but it never came to America, and they
Okay.
enhanced it, and they're finally bringing it over to the West. But it's times perfectly because Trails of the Sky just got the remake. So yeah, thankfully it's not going to take. It shouldn't, as far as I'm aware, take nearly as much time because it's more of a like a Smash Brothers style fighting thing. But it's certainly something I look forward to and playing. And that's just all of it on top of doing karaoke with my wife and working on other games, and even like you can replay, like I can play it right now, and it's like I just don't have the time because I'm trying to do other stuff. I don't want to get involved too much because I know Pokemon's one of those big things, and I'm excited for it, and I really want to do it, and I'm gonna see what happens by the end of the month and what I could get to. But yeah, like I wish I could be like Greg and be like, "Nope, there's no big games here. I'm just gonna keep working on Silksong." And be like, "No, man, it's too many games."
Yeah, I think from that list, I think the big one, of course, is Elf on the Shelf. Um, is going to be Pokemon Legends ZA. I think I'll potentially I might get it. I think I'm actually traveling. Yeah, I'm traveling next week when it comes out, so I don't know if I'll be able to get it right away. But I'll eventually be able to pick it up because I didn't play Legends Arceus, and so
For
I'm
sure.
excited to get into ZA. Be the first time I played a mainline Pokemon game in a while. And then yeah, I think I'm looking at Yuka replayly. Maybe like you, I'll eventually get around to it. I played both like the original game and the side scrolling game. Loved them both. They're great games. And so I'm not excited. I don't have to get back into a remake of it, so that's fine. Um, there's also some other games that I'm going to be playing FC26, of course, and continuing to play more of that. And then Soldner X, which Barry talked about at the top of the episode about playing. We've got a game chat to do, so I need to play some of that game so I can actually chat about it soon. And then a couple others that are going to be there that are more indie games. And then we did just get copies of Lego Party for all four of us three on the podcast, and then Tristan as well. So maybe we'll get to do some Lego Party together sometime soon, and be able to do a game chat on that as well. So I have very little information about Lego Party. I just saw it was coming out. They offered codes, and I said, sure, that sounds like fun. Is
Lego
there
Party,
online?
it's I
And
believe so.
then they
Yeah,
said
it's like
yes. So
Mario Party but with
yep,
Lego characters and
I was
stuff.
like, that sounds fun.
And that's
So
another one, the physical that we did. We didn't digitally do that one, but
oh,
we did the
cool,
physical of that one.
nice, nice. Well,
So
cool.
it's cool when you
So
said that. I'm like, oh, cool, another one of our games. I love the
that's
love.
fun. That's fun. So yeah. Well, we'll be playing that a little bit too. So of course there's so many games in the backlog that I still need to get to. I want to get to. And that, in fact, you mentioned earlier Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I beat that game or not. I know I beat the original by a lot. Like I don't know if I 100%, but it was pretty stinking close to 100%. Age of
Wow, that
Calamity, I
original's
can't
huge.
remember if I did or not. Yeah, that first game is huge. I
Huge,
actually
huge.
like it better than Age of Calamity, I think. Um, but yeah, I played a lot of that, so I may play. I may boot up Age of Calamity at some point before the next Tower Warriors game comes out. It's like November, right? So I still got
Yeah,
some time in that.
November.
So
Yeah, I was planning on doing it in November, but I had a little gap, and I'm like, let me just do that DLC because I didn't
yeah,
do it. And it only took me a couple days to do the DLC here and there. A lot of it's just the grinding and doing the story, and like, you need certain materials. But it's a lot of fun. I
nice.
forgot just how much fun those games are.
They are. Yep. Well, cool. That brings us to the end of episode 323. And we're going to be back with the next episode on October 21st, 2025. We'll be recording that live as usual on that Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. We'd love for you guys to jump in the live chat as we are streaming on YouTube and Twitch. If you've never joined us for a live recording, please do that. That's next time. That'd be great. I'm sure we're going to have lots to talk about. And if not, I'm sure we'll still talk because that's what we do. And we love having you guys here with it, as we're doing the live recording or listening, watching after the fact. We're so grateful that you guys are in our community and jumping in, and just it's great for us to have these conversations with you guys as well. So please jump over into our Discord if you've not done that yet, because that's another way we can continue to grow this community. Greg, anything to share before we wrap up for this episode?
I don't believe there's anything too much major to add. I mean, I've already mentioned I'll be traveling this weekend from like Thursday to Monday, going out to Arizona. So um, hopefully we'll have some good Switch 2 quality time there, and hopefully leave the mobile stuff to take a little breather. But um, other than that, I don't think there's a ton really going on. Still been hoping to get a job in the near future, but it's been pretty much a huge struggle out there with the job market and everything. And I'm sure it's a lot of other things are tightening up for the holidays, and lots of other people are getting pushed out of work as well, unfortunately. But
Mm, yeah.
it's one of those
Yep.
parts of life, and trying to phase through it and doing the best I can.
If you guys have job openings, hire Greg. Hire Greg. Barry, anything to share before we wrap up?
Yeah, it's been crazy busy. Last week was actually my 12-year wedding anniversary, which was crazy. And then tonight, actually, before the podcast, was the very first like back to school night type thing that we've ever had to do for our
Wow.
son. And it was kind of like weird to like go to his school and talk to his teacher and see how he's doing, and like being on the opposite end of that. And he was with us, but because we just weren't going to get a sitter for 20, 30 minutes or whatever it was, but
Yeah.
it was just kind of surreal to be doing that. And
You're
then
on the
I
verge of your birthday as well.
verged my birthday. I got my
Anniversary,
birthday
back to school, and birthday. This is a big
birthday
season for you.
big, and because it's that, when you hit that over 40 thing, tomorrow I've got my colonoscopy consultation. I got to go in,
Okay.
have some fun with that. So, the joys of getting older. Look
Isn't
forward
that a
to
little
it.
early? I thought they pushed up to 45, didn't they?
They did, but because my mother and my uncle both died of colon cancer,
Ah, got it.
they allowed me to start at 40. So I had one at 40, and they said every 3 years. So I'm turning 43. So guess what? That means it's time to go in, and I don't mind it. I just hate the fasting part. That
Hmm.
sucks. That's like
Yeah.
suffer for one day of
Yeah.
no eating,
Yeah. Did
or
they
no,
put you out
not
now?
heavy. Oh yeah, you always
Yeah.
get knocked out.
You always go out? Okay. Okay. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
it's easy. Like the procedure itself is nothing,
Okay.
but
Good.
it's.
Good. I'm just not looking
And they
forward to it.
changed it. Like when my mother I would see her have to have it, and you have that big chalk, that big chalk that you had to drink like a gallon
Mm-hmm.
of chalk. It was disgusting. Now it's like 2 shot bottles, like small sports bottles, and it tastes good. So you just drink it in two
Wow.
different intervals. I'm like eating like one gulp. I'm like, oh, this is nothing. This is not what I was expecting at all. That terror of drinking that chalk is gone. Like,
Okay.
thank you.
Thankful for
Like your
modern
insurance may not
medicine.
cover it, but it's worth it. That chalk was terrible.
Nice.
But yeah, so the fun of that, it's like, yay. So yeah, busy, and then of course work. I just did another internal ESRB for one of our titles
Hmm.
that just came through past, which was great to see, and that's coming to consoles very soon. It's called Dragon is Dead, and I highly recommend if you like action roguelikes and to like Castlevania style.
Hmm.
It's not as punishing roguelike, Steve, so you would probably
That's
like it.
good. That's good.
Um, it's a lot of fun. So that's coming out, and we have a busy schedule with PM. There's a lot of games coming out. Actually did some ESRB play today with some of the team members for a game we have called Bandit Trap, which is like if you ever liked Home Alone and you ever saw Home Alone, you were like, oh, that looks like fun. I want to do that. That's what it is. It's like Home Alone the game. Like one player is the trapper and has to hide these like 10 gems in the furniture and like put traps around, and the other three people that play are the bandits, and they use tools to break into the house. And as the trapper, you could like possess the different like the furniture and like attack them with the furniture and knock them out, and they have to try and figure out and the idea is you as a trapper, you have to deal enough damage like Smash Brothers style before they find your 10 hidden gems.
Hmm.
And it's a lot of fun, and it's really cool, and that is coming to consoles here
Hmm.
very soon. It's
That's cool.
it's in the final stages. So there's a lot of cool stuff. So if you're interested in a lot of fun games, I could just say stay tuned. Our schedule is packed, and it's been a joy being a part of the industry, even with all the turmoil, and we're doing all we can to bounce back. Like you could replay is complete on Kart, like
Hmm.
it's not a game key on Switch 2. It is the full game. We are making sure that you're getting it,
Yeah.
and we're doing that with all our Switch 2 titles, and we're doing what we can. I mean, that's
Yeah.
it. We're one company, but we're gonna do what we can,
Yeah.
and we have a lot of other fun games on the way. That's what I
That's
say.
cool. That's cool. Yeah, it's weird for me to actually buy, like I said, mentioned at the top of the episode, another game case, because right now the only physical game I have for Switch 2 is Donkey Kong, because there's just not as much of incentive to go out and buy those games anymore. Like I walk through like game section of Walmart and I'm like, oh, game key card, game key card, game key card, game key card, game
Yeah.
key card. I don't want to buy any of these.
What about Pokemon Legends EA? The Switch 2 version
Ah,
is
I'm on
complete
the
on
fence.
card.
I'm on the fence of it. I like I'm going back and forth. Like it's one of those things. It's more of a convenience thing for me at this point. It's like, okay, does convenience win out, or do I actually want this game cartridge? I have not collected like all the Pokemon games, so that as a collection look at it doesn't affect me because I've not done that. It all like I've some of them digital, some of them physical over the years. That doesn't bother me. It's more the question of like, is there is there going to be a reason for me to want it physical for the long run? Do I want to eventually potentially sell it or trade it off or whatever? I don't know if I would want to, but at the same time, do I want to go back to it years and years and years later? Do I worry if they take it off the server because I'll probably be playing whatever Pokemon game is out then and I won't care about that anymore? So I don't know. I'm kind of in a weird place with that. So I'll decide
I
later.
mean, if you ever decide you do want to, trade it for another game, Pokemon games hold value, so you always have that.
It's true.
Um, and if you're not going to play it years and years later, and it's sitting there on your Switch digitally, it's not doing you any favors either.
Also
So
true.
then you might
Yeah.
as well get rid of it at that point. At least you have it physically.
Also true. Yep. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And sometimes like I make rash decisions in the moment that I plan on getting it physical, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be around a store for the next few days. I'm just going to download it in my hotel or whatever where I am at the moment. So that also happens.
Yeah,
So
I
we'll
mean,
see.
pretty much for anything that I'm excited about, I always tend to just go digital just because it's like I since with Central Time I get like the game at like 11 p.m. the night before, and then if I'm willing to stay up for something really awesome like a new Zelda game, then it's like that I can really dive in for like an hour or two. But
See,
um
Oh,
I
don't remind me of the
found
Mario
that,
Kart World madness though.
yeah, Mario
yeah,
Kart World. I played one
that
race and
was
then I went to sleep.
This game
See,
hasn't
see,
released yet. That was awful.
Mm-hmm.
see the way it works for me. I mean, granted, East Coast obviously it would be midnight versus 11, but still, as I've gotten older, I found that I would rather not start playing it at night and then go to sleep and wake up early and then play where I could sit and I can play the
Sure.
whole day without all of a sudden it's being 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I got to go to sleep and I'm terrible the next day because I'm miserable. I'd rather get the better night's sleep and then be able to play. And as you get older, it's gonna be more harder and harder to stay up later and do that. So you
I
might
was
as
about
well
to say
just
that. You're getting
give
old,
in,
Barry. You're getting old, Barry.
give in, and just play. And the best part is, the kid goes to school, bye, power on, pick your feet up,
Yeah.
good to
Yeah.
go, let's go. And that meanwhile, I can see him as he gets older. You're playing the new Mario today? Yup. Sucks for you, doesn't it? I'll see you at home when you get home,
Zev0 said in the
Well,
chat, excited about Pokemon. I guess saw it at PAX and looks so good. So
Nice.
if your son turns out anything like my daughter, it's like, oh, you can't play this until I get back home.
Oh no.
You can't
No,
progress
no.
farther
I
than me.
I've already told my wife like we're gonna get 2 copies of like the Nintendo games because I'm not waiting around for him. He's gonna play himself, and if he wants to play with somebody, he's gonna play with you because I'm playing and doing my thing. You can experience it with him. I'm experiencing it by myself with him, by myself. That's good. I'm not gonna. Well, you can't get past me. No, I'm sorry. Did you beat Mario 1, 2, 3, World 2,
it's your
64,
prerequisites.
Sunshine? Yeah. No, you didn't. So go play those. I'm playing this one. I did all those other ones already.
That's funny. Well, thanks again for being here, guys. We're going to be back on October 21st with the next episode. Hope to see you guys there live. But if not, of course, we'll be on all your podcast apps and YouTube after the fact with the recordings. But until then, happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
See you next time.